Most goldsmiths suck at marketing. Most of them don't run any ads at all. And the few who actually do run ads, they don't do it enough, right? They don't run enough ads. Just to give you an idea of how important running ads actually is that these are huge, huge jewelry and goldsmith companies, and they all run a bunch of ads. Now, obviously, many of them are transnational corporations at this point, but it's just to show how powerful meta ads are. So, for example, I mean, just, here are just four examples of huge jewelry and goldsmithing companies that just run massive amounts of ads, which is one of the topics that we're going to be talking in today, right? So, what happens most of the time is that goldsmiths, this is basically the process of how goldsmiths most of the time actually run meta ads. So they go to Facebook, they click on boost post, which is on one of their posts, they just click boost post. Then they write a boring headline. They click run ad. They lose money. And then within 5 days of the ad, of actually starting to run the ad, they shut it down, right? And then for the rest of their life, they will just say that ads don't work. And it's obviously understandable. I mean, if you look at meta ads, they don't make it super easy for absolutely everyone to understand how they work, right? So it is understandable that goldsmiths that are not supposed to know, obviously we're goldsmiths, right? We're supposed to know other things, but goldsmiths are not generally supposed to learn how to run Google ads. They're not supposed to know, right? But the fact is that all of these huge companies, like for example, these huge companies, they all run ads. It means these ads, I mean, advertising, paid advertising has been around always. Okay. So these obviously work. It's just how, right? It's just, are you good enough to make it work? Right. So, one of the a couple of topics that we are going to talk about today. But first, just to give you an example, those who run Google Ads, right? Goldsmiths who run Google Ads, because obviously Goldsmith shops are local, right? So Google Ads are very good at for local shops in general, not even just for Goldsmith shops, but in general for local businesses. Google Ads are fantastic. The problem with Google Ads, like pay-per-click ads or Google search ads, are that you're very handcuffed to the small amount of people in your local market who are searching for a goldsmith shop, because it's high intent people, right? They are actually searching for a shop. So they're very small amounts of people, right? Also, they are pretty expensive, right? So you're handcuffed with Google ads. So I just want to talk about the two things that you, as a goldsmith shop owner, need to be doing to actually make your meta ads, so Facebook and Instagram, work, right? That is why these huge companies, goldsmith companies in specific, right, run a bunch of ads. I mean, they are running thousands of ads, right? They're not just running one or two, they're running thousands of ads. And we, as goldsmiths, as local goldsmith shops, are not running them, right? Like, they're important. So these are the two things that you, as a goldsmith shop owner, need to be doing to make your ads work. So number one is clear, not clever messaging, and this comes down just to hook, headline, copy, and whatever's in your creative. If you have words in your creative, right? So what is hook, copy, headline? What is all this stuff? So in an ad, this underneath here, this is called a headline. The first part, if you're creative, you can have a hook in your creative also, but in writing, this is the hook. The first line of the copy basically is the hook, right? And then you have your copy. This is all the big meaty information that you give to the prospects so that they actually click, like for example here, sign up, or in our case as local goldsmith shops, learn more or download, right? If we are giving away a lead magnet, right? So we have, this is the hook, this is the copy, this is the headline, this is the call to action. Obviously here underneath there should be a headline, call to action as well. And then you also have copy here in the creative. So the creative is actually the photo or the video that you're actually posting. It's the first thing in Facebook or Instagram that anyone will ever see. Headline is second, this third, right? Or actually hook second and then this third, right? So all the way throughout this ad, there needs to be clarity, right? So I'm just going to give you an example, a good example, a bad example of how what clarity means and what not to do when you're actually writing and making these ads, right? Whether you make a video, even if you're making a video, like for example, in this case, Stephen made or the BBC, I think. I don't know which. Oh yeah, the BBC run this ad. It's a photo, right? But if you're a local goldsmith, you can run videos as well. Like it's not a problem. So this is a bad example. This is an example of a bad messaging, right? Do not do this. Your elegance is our mission. Like no one understands what you're selling. Zero people. No one understands what they are getting the benefit of the like no one understands. No one knows if this is for men, if this is for women, what age is this for? What are you actually no one understands this, right? This is bad messaging. Now, you might see this, like you might say your elegance is our mission and think this is very cheesy, corny, and it doesn't work. You're right. And a lot of businesses do this. Okay. We have run, actually, I'll say that for later. But this is just bad. This is an example of bad messaging. Do not do this. Okay. I'll tell you why later on. This is an example of good messaging. Okay. So I am looking for 5 women in Stockholm who want a dream wedding ring. Dream wedding ring. We sell dream wedding rings. For who? Just 5 women who live in Stockholm. Women in Stockholm. This is the quantity we want. So scarce, right? This is the amount of women we are willing to take on. And what do they want? A dream wedding ring. That's what we sell. Super, super clear. Why do I say that you have to do this instead of this, right? Instead of bad messaging. Well, we ran a test, right? So you can divide ads between two, basically, or I will do the divide ads in this video for just the reason for this video is that you can have brand ads, right? Brand ads, and then you can have direct response ads, right? Brand ads is what, for example, a lot of the time huge corporations do. A lot of the time, right? So that this is just to create brand awareness, and it's kind of there's very you cannot measure it, right? These are huge corporations that basically just have money to throw, basically, right? They do this sort of thing. But we are a goldsmith shop, local goldsmith shop. We don't have money to throw away. So we had to go to direct messaging. And by the way, this converts way better. Okay. We've run tests on this. It's like we have put an ad that's a vague ad with a vague copy, with vague headlines, with vague hooks, with vague um, with with a vague copy. I mean, I already said copy with with a vague photo, right? You really didn't understand what you were looking at, right? What are they selling you? Why am I seeing this, right? So, and then we also run this direct response ad, which is this is the sort of copy or hook, right? That we put out. And this one won by an enormous margin, right? So, just as a tip, if I had a local goldsmith shop, this is the sort of messaging I would use, not the vague messaging. Okay. So that's it. Now, the second thing that that we guys as a local goldsmith shop owners we need to do is volume, right? The amount that we do, that's volume. The amount, like the enormous amount of things that we are able to do, volume. Okay, so this is since we're just talking about ads, Facebook ads specifically, we're just going to talk about the creative. Now, creative is the photos or the videos. That's it. So when you hear me say creatives, is video or photos. That's it. Okay. So most goldsmiths, obviously, as I've said in the beginning of this video, they don't run ads. Most of them, 95, 98% of the goldsmiths do not run ads. They don't even run Google ads. Okay. The very few that run ads do way too little. Okay. What do I mean by way too little? I'm not talking about obviously the huge corporations that already nailed this, right? I'm talking about the select few of local goldsmith shops that run ads. If you're a local goldsmith shop, this is what I mean by volume, right? A lot of goldsmiths run an ad, one, they run it for a week, maybe two. They don't get enough customers to give them the money that they invested in the ads back in 2 weeks. They shut it off and they say ads don't work. That is not the game. Just telling you straight, that's not the game of ads. You, as a local goldsmith shop, you are required to do 10 new ads every single week. Now, that's a mind like that. I broke your mind, right? That's a lot of ads. But if you just break it down you just break it down to what do I actually have to do? It's like I had to spend 2 hours on Monday making new ads, right? Like 2 hours on Monday. That's not much, right? So normally what we do, obviously, one of the big things is that we don't make completely new ads. We just don't take an idea out of nowhere and then just run the ad and then make 10 new. Like, we don't do that, right? What we do is we take one that work and then duplicate that 10 times or 9 times, right? We make very similar ads. So for example, if you're making a video ad, right? And once you ran that ad, either you put that on your social media and it did very well, or you ran the as an ad and it did pretty well, then you just replicate that one ad 9 times. That's it. You say the same things with the same pace, in the same place, with the same people, with the same props, maybe a different shirt. Who knows? But you just replicate that ad 9 times. So when people say, when goldsmiths say ads don't work, one, you haven't been doing it enough. Like, you haven't done enough creative. You haven't made enough ads, right? Number two is that it doesn't take so long. It doesn't take too long. Like, it takes 2 hours to make 10 new ads a week, especially if you're running photo ads. It's super easy, right? So you have 10 new ads a week, every single week. In 1 month, you had 40 ads. You're going to get customers for 40 ads. I promise you, as a local goldsmith shop. It's just that most goldsmiths cannot even imagine making 40 ads in 1 month or 10 a week, right? But it's actually just 2 hours on Monday, and then again 2 hours the next Monday, and then 2 hours the next month. And in total is, well, what? I don't know, 9 hours? It's nothing, right? So, sorry, 8 hours. Sorry, 8 hours. But it's nothing. It's not much for the things that we are striving for, which is creating a great goldsmith business, growing the business, getting a bunch of revenue, and making a bunch of profits so that we can actually take money home, right? But local goldsmith shops. That's what we want, right? Obviously, there are bigger goals and stuff, but 10 creatives, 10 new creatives a week is not a difficult thing to do, and most goldsmiths don't do it, right? So if you're a goldsmith shop and you don't have enough customers, which is the number one problem in the industry, in the goldsmith industry at least, for local goldsmith shops, not having enough customers is the number one problem of the industry, right? So if you are a goldsmith shop, these are the sort of ads that you can just replicate super easily, right? Now, these are, if you do video ads, that's fine as well. You can replicate those as well inside 2 hours, within 2 hours. Sorry. These are other sort of ads that I call gossip tabloid style ads. These are super similar ads that have the same format, and you can have the same copy, the same funnel, everything, and you can just duplicate them. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So very, very useful ads. I just wanted to show you an example of what you can actually run. These ads get a bunch of leads, by the way. So you might look at these ads and call them really shitty ads. I promise you they are. I also promise you that they get a bunch of leads, right? Huge amounts of leads. Now, you can just run these for your local. By the way, you can screenshot them and copy them if you want, but I'll give you another way. If you are a local Goldsmith shop, if you're struggling to get customers, step number one is lead generation, which is what we have just talked about. Running a Facebook ad, generating traffic, and getting leads, right? People who are interested in your stuff that you can pick up your phone and call them, right? Step number one. So if you're if you have if you're having trouble to get customers, then you can click the link in the description of this video, just underneath this video, right? There's a link, one link. You can click it and it will take you here where I'll teach you step by step, click by click, how to generate leads on Facebook and Instagram, how to turn those leads into booked in-person appointments in your Goldsmith shop. And then after they walk into your shop, we actually have to sell them stuff. Now, we can sell them on like you can just wing it, but we prefer to have a sales system because if we have a sales system, we will be able to charge higher prices, sell more times, more things, and get free customers from those people who we paid for, right? With referrals. And that is only done by a system and by implementing it consistently. So if you're a Goldsmith and you're having trouble getting customers, click the link in the description of this video and I'll help you out.